Chapter 42, Past and Present. So, in the last chapter, Selena Anti took Ruku to that school for kids with intellectual disabilities, and then Arul took VG back to see Kuti and the bridge. Okay, so that was an interesting chapter. Here we have chapter 42, Past and Present. After assembling this morning, Selena Auntie beckoned to me to come see her. "Surely you can't be in trouble again," Arul whispered. "You said your prayers today," Mutu rushed to defend me. "I saw. I'll tell them, Akka." "Thanks, Mutu." I ruffled his hair. "I promise I'll let you know if I need your help." I followed Selena Auntie into her office. "Sorry to keep you from your class, but it's your lessons I want to discuss with you." She played with the pen on her desk. "We have a good place here." "A great place," I said. "I'm glad to hear you say that, VG. I'm happy to see how you have adjusted. But I've been thinking about where you need to be." "What do you mean?" "Our teachers aren't used to teaching children as old as you, or as good at writing and reading as you are. There are larger schools where you would have greater opportunities, better facilities." "You want me to leave?" "That's not what I'm saying. This can still be your home, VG, and you can visit Mutu and the rest of us anytime. But there's a good boarding school where some of our children have gone before. I spoke to the head and she said she'd welcome you." "I haven't said I'd go." "No," she looked me in the eye. "But if you're serious about teaching at a school someday, you will need to study a lot more and get much better training than we can give you here. Just think it over, okay?" It's so strange, Ruku. Just when I start thinking of this as my home, Selena Auntie decides I need to move on and out of here. I know I need to welcome the chance Selena Auntie is offering me, except I don't want to go. You were taken from me, and I'm not ready to take myself away from the two best friends I have left. Not yet. That evening, Arul and I sat on the bench watching Mutu chase the little kids who cackled and screeched. It was good to see him in such high spirits again and to hear him hooting with laughter. When he came over to join us, I started telling them about my conversation with Selena Auntie. "She wants to send me to a school." "We're at school," Mutu said. "A bigger school," I said, and explained her offer. "Super!" Arul thumped me on the back. "Glad you're so thrilled by the thought of me leaving," I said, watching the kids running about. "But I don't want to go." "I don't want you to go either," Mutu said. "Stay here, Akka. Never mind what Arul says." "Don't be silly." Arul's smile left his face and he got all serious. "She should go. Go and do something she's dreaming about." "If I leave, who would look after Mutu?" I asked. "I don't need anyone looking after me." Mutu pushed his lip up so far it looked in danger of falling off his face. "I'll be okay if you go, but I won't like it." "I won't like it at the other school," I said. "We'll all probably have nicer dresses and lots of..." You'll always have nicer friends," Adderall interrupted, "and nicer family. You'll always have us." I couldn't argue with that. I put an arm around each of them and drew them closer. "So before I go to the next page, I want you to think, should she go to that new school? Do you think she will? What would you do if you were her? How would you feel? Chapter 43. Sorry. Chapter 43. Our Father. Ding, ding, ding. The next morning, I got a visit from our Father. Definitely not the one in heaven. How did he know where to find me? I asked Selina Auntie when she told me he was here to see me, and then the answer came to me. My letter. Probably, Selina Auntie said. You don't have to see him unless you want to. I'll see him, I said. Do you want me or someone else to stay with you? I'm not scared. If I didn't meet him face to face, I'd be afraid he'd try to track me down some other day, when I wasn't in such a safe place. I will meet him on my own. As you wish. Selina Auntie motioned at the room where he was waiting. We won't let him take you away by force. But of course, if you decide you want to leave, that's up to you. Head high, neck maybe a little too stiff, I strode in like a princess. What do you want? I said to Appa. He held out a package, a gift, like he thought it was enough to win me over. I looked at the dark hair sprouting in bushes along his fingers. I could feel his hand coming down across my cheek, whip fast, leather tough. I don't want it, I said. I don't want anything from you. His eyes glittered with anger. You're my daughter, he said. Mine. I can take the two of you home, whether you want to or not. You can't, I said. Not the two of us. The Ruku is dead. What? He stared and then whispered, You're lying. No, I said. I wouldn't lie about something like that. A strange sound came from him, a kind of growl that was anger and pain mixed up. His hand actually trembled. He let the package flop onto Selina Auntie's desk. Maybe all that Selina Auntie and Arul had said about God and Yesu had made some kind of difference. Because all of a sudden, I felt sorry for him. The way he stooped, his arms hanging limp. On the street, I had seen dogs fighting, snarling, ripping at one another, until one gave up and tucked its tail between its legs in surrender. That was what Appa reminded me of, with his head hanging and his chin almost touching his chest. Seeing him standing that way, I knew I was larger than he would ever be. For his pitiful sake, I ripped open the package he had brought. Inside there were two things. A hand-carved wooden pendant and a hand-carved doll, just like Maripachi. You made Aruku a new doll. I couldn't believe it, but there she was in my hands. Maripachi's twin. He must have made the old one too, I realized. Yes, I made it for her. He knelt and put his hands together. Come home, please. Give me another chance. I'll never, ever hurt you again. He shook with sobs, and I put a hand on his shoulder. Rivers of tears coursed down, crooked across his cheeks, his double-covered chin. A flood of forgiveness rose in my chest. It was a strange kind of forgiveness, mixed with desperate pity and hope. A flood that threatened to drown me if I didn't fight it. At last, I understood how Amma felt. Why she gave in every time he said he was sorry. Do you think Viji's going to give in? I understood her eagerness to piece together her shattered image of him, her need to keep hoping things would get better somehow. She must have felt just as sorry for him as I felt when I saw him kneeling on the ground. Because at that moment, he truly meant it. He really wanted to be a better man. I almost did what Amma would have done. I almost gave up the freedom and the future I could have. That's when I heard your voice, Ruku. No, you said to me, stay, Fiji. Your voice was like the beam of a lighthouse, cutting right through my fog of pity. No, my voice was calm. My whole body was calm. This is home now. Don't be angry, he said. I'll give you anything, anything. My future is here, Appa. His knuckles clenched and then unclenched. Tell Amma I love her. And don't ever lay a finger on her again. Yes, he bowed his head. And I'll come again to visit you. Bring her, I said. Bring her to visit me. I promise, he said. For the first time in what felt like forever, the touch of his rough hand was gentle on my chin. He held it. He held my gaze. Then he let go and walked out the door. His steps measured, his footfalls softened. I hope he'll keep his promise. But even if he doesn't, his visit left me feeling better. He took away some of my anger, I think. Anger that had been pressing down on my chest. Now that I had let my anger go, it felt like my heart had more room. After Appa left, I marched up to Selina Auntie, who was waiting anxiously to hear how it had all gone. You know that boarding school for girls, the one you wanted to send me to, I said. I'll go. Yes! She slammed a fist into her palm. That's wonderful. You'll be so happy there. I'm so proud of you. Then the two of us just sat there and smiled at each other. At dinner, I told Arul and Mutu about Appa's visit and how much better I had behaved than I ever thought I could. There's hope for you yet, Arul said. Yesu is getting through. No, I said. It was Ruku's voice I heard in my head, not Yesu's. Not in your head, Arul said. You heard her voice in your heart. Waiting for him to lecture me about you being in heaven, I chewed a mouthful of rice. But Arul only said, if you really think the only place Ruku's still alive is inside you, you know what to do, right? What? You've got to start loving yourself like you loved her. Like you were able to allow yourself to even love your dad. Not sure if that was love exactly, I said. Anyway, there's something else I need to tell you too. What? Mutu said. I'm going to that other school Selina Auntie talked about. Mutu stuck his tongue out at me. But Arul whooped. Woo! Yes, Arul said. You're going to do so much with your life. What if I'm not good enough? I voiced my fear. Then you can come back here, Mutu said. I hope you're not good enough. Don't be silly, Arul said. She'll become a teacher like she wanted, and she'll build a school for kids like us. Who will you name your school after? Mutu asked me, as if I were building one already. You should name it after our father, Arul said. Remember? Our Father, O-R-T Narayan. Hallowed be his name. was so amazed to hear him joking about God that I said, totally serious, I'll name it after you, Arul. Ruku and Mutu and you. After me? Mutu grinned. Then I guess I'd better start paying attention to my lessons. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's read aloud. It's Friday. There's just a quick multiple choice question I would like for you to answer, and that's it. Okay, thank you.